Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, episode 49, and this is the show where I usually review all the comics I read this week in one show. Have a lot of comics this week, 19 comics, 3 digital, all the rest printed. So we're going to go worst pick of the week to best pick of the week. Some really good comics, some low comics, but there are some really, really good comics, like 5-star comics. So really excited to talk about this. Also, since this is episode 49, I should have a recommended type video this weekend where you guys can recommend a comic for me to review. Yeah, so a comic that I can review for episode 50, and I'll have a video for that. So, because I like doing that usually for every 25 episodes. But yeah, let's get started. Let's start with number 19. Also want to mention that I have a little laryngitis, had a lot of laryngitis yesterday, so if my voice starts going in and out, it's because I have a little laryngitis. It's starting to go in and out already, so let's get started. Number 19 is Original Sin, issue 2. I know a lot of people are liking this series, but I just can't get into it. And I felt like with this issue, it's probably worse than the last one. And this is the difficulty with Original Sin for me. I think the premise of the story is really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to the tie-ins, the other series, Original Sins. So I'm looking forward to those series, but the event itself, I'm not so interested in. Like this, nothing really happens in this issue. I get to see the superheroes, they're trying to find the Watcher's, killer. The guy with the eye is there. He's like, oh, all the sins are in my hands. And that's really all that happens in this issue. Nothing much. It's very dark, the series, and that's something that really draws me away from it. I'm not a big fan of dark art, and you get to see that a lot with Original Sin. But yeah, it's just not my taste. I feel like that's what's going on here. I will be getting Original Sin tie-ins because I don't think it's a bad story. It's just not my taste. I have to debate if I want to get issue 3 because I didn't really like issue 1 and 2, but maybe issue 3 will be better. I don't know because I like the cliffhanger, so I might give issue 3 a try, but I know I'll get Original Sins and I will get the tie-ins, at least some of them, so I'm still debating on the event though because I'm not loving the tone of the event, but I do like the story itself, if you understand what I'm saying. Alright, so number 18 is Harley Quinn issue 6. Very disappointed to see this really low on my list, because either with Harley Quinn it's a real big hit, could be pick of the week, or it could be really bad, like this week. I didn't love the last issue, and this issue I thought was kind of worse, because of the dialogue, honestly. We have this kind of yetish guy, he's an older guy trying to get the people he hates and target them, and Harley just wants to help him because she likes older people, and not in that way, but just likes helping older people because she works as a therapist for the nursing home. But yeah, so you get to see a little Harley dynamics, but a lot of people are speaking Russian, and they show that in the dialogue, and you do not know what they're saying. Half the time, they're like, 50 years, 50 damn years, we could not hear, just let us be, I like it here in America, the toilet paper is soft and has 2 plies. That is what's going on here. Shut up, Borya. Like, it's the accent, and they really show that in the dialogue. Couldn't they just say Russian accent on the side, and we could have done that in our heads? I really couldn't understand what they were saying. Like, why are they talking about cheese? Why are they talking about toilet paper? I wanted to skim their dialogue so bad because I just did not like it. And that's literally half the issue. So that disappointed me a lot. There wasn't a lot of Harley here, actually, but I did like the cliffhanger because we're finally done with this story arc with the old guy in the wheelchair, and we got Poison Ivy saying, hey, do you want to know who's targeting you? And I'm like, finally, a story we care about that we actually want to get accomplished. So that was the last page. It makes me have faith in the 7th issue, but, you know, even though we get a bad issue with Harley Quinn, it doesn't mean the series is bad. It's just very up and down. You could have a really great issue, a really fun issue, like issue 0, and that issue where the woman has Alzheimer's. Like, those are some of my favorite issues of Harley Quinn. But then you have issues like this, and you're like, why can't you just speak in not normal language, but why can't you speak normally in the dialogue, and maybe some V's and cheese here? I was very disappointed with this. I like the art, so it did go a little bit higher than Original Sin. I know I had a little bit more passion about this one, because I love Harley Quinn, and I'm really disappointed that there's this up and down battle. But yeah, I gave this 2 stars. I was really disappointed with this issue. But it doesn't mean I'm dropping it, but I hope it doesn't go in this direction more than it should. If I see more issues like this, I'm going to have to, think about dropping it, which I don't want to see because I love Harley Quinn. So, we'll see what happens. But I did like the art, so it wasn't totally terrible, even though the story wasn't great. Alright, now we're up to number 17. Let me just make sure what that grade is. Yes, number 17 is a Comic Frontline exclusive, and that is Uncanny X-Men, issue 21. Yeah, I know I dropped Uncanny X-Men. I still dropped it. I just saw the summary of Uncanny X-Men, and I thought it was an interesting story because we could see what happened to Dazzler. And I've always liked Dazzler. I actually have a lot of her older issues. I think she's a fun character and unexpected mutant. You know, a disco star who's a mutant, and now who knows what she's actually doing. But Mystique is taking over her body. S.H.I.E.L.D. is working with Mystique, even though they don't know it. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is attacking the Jean Grey Institute, so the Wolverine and the X-Men. And something's going on with Illyana and Cyclops, so we have that big story going on. And also with Dazzler, she is totally destroyed. Her face is destroyed. Let me show you a picture of that. But there wasn't much story with it, which really disappointed me. I wanted to see more Dazzler. Like the summary said, we'll find out what happens with Dazzler, and it was like a one page. Like, give me a whole story what happened to Dazzler. Other than that, it was okay. It was interesting, but it didn't get me to say, oh, let me pick up the next issue. I just didn't care about Cyclops being, you know, having something wrong with his powers and S.H.I.E.L.D. being against them. I'm not a big fan of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comic books. Like, I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, but I don't really like S.H.I.E.L.D. in the comic books that much, so, and all the government-y stuff, so I'm going to give this 2.5 stars. Also, the art is very dark. As you can see, a very trendy thing with these lower pick of the weeks. Worst pick of the weeks here. Very dark art, just not my style. So I'm going to give this 2.5 stars. I'm not going to get the next issue. Unless here's a summary that interests me again. Alright, so now we're up to number 16, which is Batman Eternal, issue 7. I have to take a sip of soda. But yeah, very surprised that Batman Eternal... sip of water. But yeah, very surprised that Batman Eternal is so low on my list. Because I think Batman Eternal has some weak issues, and this was definitely the weakest issue, actually. I really love the issues where we could see a lot of the Bat family. One of my favorites was, you know, the Stephanie Brown issue, obviously. But then I like the Tim Drake and Vicky Vale story. I like the Batgirl story, even though it had, you know, not great art. But this was not great. I don't think much happened. Don't really care about Professor Pig or Penguin, and that's pretty much the story. We get to see Batman against Professor Pig, and Professor Pig was about to get arrested, but the commissioner was like, no, we don't work with supervillains, so you already hate the commissioner, because he's a douchebag, and that's it. And that's how I feel about the commissioner, or this commissioner, obviously not Commissioner Gordon, but this new commissioner. So we get to see that, and then with Catwoman, we get to see that Penguin's club is destroyed. So that's his pride and joy and whatever. I never care about Penguins, so that's why I didn't really care about the story. Didn't care about Professor Pig. I liked the commissioner part, but that was just so little of the story that I don't know, this issue just didn't blow me away at all. I lost interest in it. It was one of the later issues I read, and I just didn't feel like it was so interesting. The art's okay. There are points that I thought was a little bit too dark, especially in the faces, maybe with the fire scenes. There's another one with Batman where it's just totally shaded. Hopefully I can find that for you. Here, it's like totally shaded his face with black. The detail that they have with the characters here wasn't great. The art's okay, it's just the detail they did on the faces. That kind of was distracting. So I'm going to give this 2.5 stars. I was disappointed with this issue. I think this was the worst Batman Eternal issue I've read so far. Hopefully next issue will improve. Alright, so now we're up to number 15, which is getting a lot better. There are no 3-star comics. We're going to 3.5, and that is Elektra issue 2. I don't know why I like the series so much, because usually with these abstract type series, I really don't like, but I love the narration. I feel like I get the story enough to like it. And I like that Elektra is just being an assassin. She's being herself. She's not trying to be a hero. And that's what I really like about the story overall. It's so simple, the story. It's about her trying to get her contact, and then the sun pops up and says, wait, the contact's not actually to kill him, it's to save him. So now she's forced to be a hero. She's obviously going to kill people on her way, but she's being forced to be a hero. And then she has to go against this other assassin who wants to actually kill this guy who eats people and likes blood. So that's the story. And I think the art is gorgeous. Love the art, even though it's kind of hard to get into the story, the groove of it, because the art is so abstract. I think it works for the series. Like, look at this action sequence. I think it works for Elektra, which is surprising. Again, I'm usually not into these type of stories, but I think it works. And every issue, I'm like, I kind of want to read more. I don't think it'll ever be pick of the week, but it's interesting to me. So I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. It was a simple story. I like where Elektra's going, and I like this issue. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. Alright, so number 14 now is Future's End, issue 3. I liked it. A little bit more of a point A to point B issue. Don't know why I can't speak today. Yeah, point A to point B issue. There are some fillerness here, like Frankenstein being here for no reason. He just saved the kid, and since he had a canceled series, they're like, let's bring Frankenstein into here. Grifter's story is interesting because we're learning a little bit more about Grifter and him actually having to do with the story, because he could see these alien electronic things, and it has a lot to do with what Batman Beyond's looking for. So at least that makes sense. Grifter actually has a key role to this. Firestorm is really interesting. Him running away from his problems, doing the same thing, and not letting go of his partner that's in also Firestorm, and he wants to get out and be like, hey, you did the wrong thing. He's like, nope. Ronnie's like, nope, I'm gonna go find a girl and just be with her instead. So that's what's going on with Firestorm after the cliffhanger from last week. And the Batman Beyond is not doing much, which kind of really irks me with this issue, and why it's kind of a little lower. It's because Batman Beyond's supposed to be this main character, but he's not really interesting. He's not doing much. I'm sure he's going to do more as the series goes on, but it's a little weird that he's in every issue, but he's not doing anything. He's not really being interesting. And even Mr. Terrific kind of annoys me in this issue, too. But my favorite part was the ending, where we get to see Tim Drake is still alive, and he has this beard, he's awesome, and Lois is like, well, I found Tim Drake, he's not actually dead, and the rest of the Teen Titans are. And that reminded me a little bit more of the pre-New 52 Teen Titans. It felt like more about family. He punched somebody because they said something bad about Wonder Girl, being dead. So I love this Tim Drake so far. I think he's going to be awesome. And I like that Lois is getting into the story. I really like Lois's part in Future's End. So overall, I thought it was an okay issue. There are a lot of filler parts. Again, Frankenstein, Batman Beyond, Mr. Terrific, but there's some awesome parts with Grifter and Tim Drake. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I thought it was pretty good, but not as good as the last issue, but it was a point A to point B issue. Alright, so next on my list is Alright, now we're up to number 13. I don't know why I don't have the index card. It should be here. Whatever. Oh, here it is. Godstrom, Hercules Pain, issue 2. It's a digital comic. It's a Zenoscope comic. Pretty interesting. I like this issue. I thought it really gave a spin of who Hercules is. We find out who the main character's father is, obviously Zeus, and the way they did it was interesting, because you kind of forgot that Hercules' father was Zeus in this issue. It's like, are they going to actually do that? Like, how is he going to become Hercules? And they do this in a really cool way. I think they changed, again, what I love about Zenoscope. They give us the fairy tales we know, or, the Disney movies we know, and put them on their head. And I think that's what Hercules Pain is doing. His brother died. He's learning about this new father. This gang is up to get him, and he has to follow the gang if he wants to stay alive. He has this girlfriend at the diner, a wannabe girlfriend. He wants this person to be his girlfriend at the diner. Some really interesting story going on here. And again, I like the spin of Hercules. And the art's pretty good too. Like the art. I also like that this is a male protagonist. We don't get to see that much with Zenoscope, so it's interesting to see Zenoscope go that direction. So yeah, I like the issue. Thought it was pretty good. So that is Hercules, and I gave that 3.5 stars. And next is number 12, which is MPH issue 1, a new Mark Millar series. When I first read this, I was like, should I get issue 2? Usually I'll debate, oh, is this a series I'll get issue 2 with? And when I'm reading it, I've been on binging Orange is the New Black, so I'm very in that mind frame of people are in jail. So I'm reading it, and it seems very Orange is the New Black in some ways because of the whole jail situation. Except a lot worse, because, it's a male jail instead of a woman jail, and there's, toilet paper being thrown everywhere. But it's also very similar because there's drug deals going on, and that happens in Orange is the New Black also. But yeah, going on, it's this regular guy. He actually wanted to make a whole business and stuff, and he gets caught. And the person he called a friend betrayed him and might be having sex with his girlfriend. We don't know. And he gets so upset, he was only going to do 5 years in jail, probably with good behavior, and he just knocked someone out in jail because he was saying something about his girlfriend. So that's 15 years now, and this guy gives him drugs, and he's like, what the hell, I'll take it. I usually don't take drugs, but I'll do it. So that's MPH, getting powers, using this Speed Force type thing where time is slowing because he's going so fast. He escapes jail, and that is the whole issue. I gotta say, with the beginning, I'm like, this feels a little generic. How am I gonna like this character? But by the end, I thought it was pretty interesting. I liked the powers. I can't say it blew my mind like Starlight did with the last Mark Millar series, but I liked it. The art, the art really fit the story. I thought it felt real realistic. I felt like this story does feel realistic because it's a drug type story that gives him the powers, less than more of a science fiction story. So I liked it. I thought it was a good time to do it. The popularity of Orange is the New Black. I don't know why that's been in my mind frame, but it felt like that a lot. A lot of the scenes felt like that. But yeah, I liked the story a lot. I thought the character was interesting. The ending was interesting enough for me to get this second issue, and the art felt very realistic. So I am going to give this 3.5 stars, and I probably will get the second issue. Again, I was debating while I was reading it, but I did decide I'll get the second issue. And that is MPH, but I probably will get that digitally, not printed. Alright, next is number 11, which is Amazing X-Men, issue 7. I like this issue. I thought it was a really fun issue. A little generic at the same time. They're just chasing this baby. We get to see our superhero friends, Firestar, Iceman, Spider-Man, which was really fun to see them all together. But they're just trying to get this baby. They have some fun interaction with each other. They give the baby away, and they get the mascot back from this Super Bowl type sport game. And that's the whole issue. It's just a fun issue with all three of our favorite heroes working together if you like the show. It was fun. I don't think I could really say it was a solid issue because the art's a little bit on the sketchy side at times. Like this, I felt like it was a little sketchy on Firestar. But it was good, I can't say there's anything special though. It made me laugh, it made me chuckle, but I expected to be a little bit more with it. Maybe some more interaction between all the characters. But it played right. It didn't tempt me to get the next Amazing X-Men story. It was a lot better than what I was reading with Amazing X-Men. Maybe I'll go issue by issue than really saying, I'll get the series put on my pull list. I'll probably get random issues of Amazing X-Men. It seems like you could do that with the series. But it was fun. I liked the issue, but I expected maybe a little bit more with it. So I'm going to give this 3.5 stars. Alright, so next is number 10, which is Dexters Lab, issue 2. I've been having a lot of fun with Dexters Lab with all these Cartoon Network, IDW titles, and this is no exception. I had a lot of fun with this one. I still think Powerpuff Girls is better in the story-wise, shocking me a little. With Dexter's Lab did shock me. I guess it was a little predictable, but I was like, oh, cool, Dee Dee's not around, and Dexter needs Dee Dee because Dexter cares about Dee Dee and shows that his creativity comes from Dee Dee. And that's the whole issue. He's happy that he doesn't have a sister, but then all his ideas run out because he doesn't have a sister to annoy him, to make him create more ideas. So now he has to create an idea to bring Dee Dee back. So it's cool to be only child for a little while. But yeah, it stayed true to the TV show, had fun with it, and I think it was a 3.5 star book. I liked it, definitely a great kid book, and I'll be finishing off the miniseries, definitely. And again, I like that they're really staying true to the Cartoon Network show. It feels like an episode of Dexter's Laboratory. So yeah, I'm going to give that 3.5 stars, very close to 4 stars though. Alright, now we're up to number 9. Right? Yes, we're up to number 9, which is Sinestro, issue 2. Really liked this issue. I can't say I liked it as much as issue 1. I think issue 1 really shocked me because I wasn't expecting much with Sinestro. And issue 2, it just follows how Sinestro is a hero, but he really isn't. That's always been Sinestro. He's an anti-hero. And we get to see that. He's trying to control his Sinestro Corps, trying to get a relationship back with his daughter, and get back with the people that kidnapped his daughter. And he doesn't care about people joining his team. He just wants to be in control of it. And that's what happens. That's pretty much the whole story. It's not really a long story, which I have to say. not a lot happens, but we get to see Sinestro gain control again. And I really hope his daughter stays in the title, because I think that's a really interesting dynamic of a Green Lantern. Will she trust him, or does she just want her family back? And we're getting to see that a lot with the Sinestro title. I love the art. What I love about the Green Lantern titles in general is how the core's colors really collide with the rest of the art. So I love the yellow in this series, and it kind of reminds me of a Jeff Johns title a little bit more than what we've been getting with the Green Lantern titles. This reminds me more of Jeff Johns' run and continuing Jeff Johns' run with Colin Bunn. So really enjoyed this. If you want to find a good Green Lantern title, I recommend Sinestro. Right now, it's the only Green Lantern title I'm getting and reviewing. I'm still getting Green Lantern New Guardians, but I haven't read it in a while, and I've been saving it in a drawer until it gets better. Because I like Carol Ferris and Kyle, but I don't know if it's really worth reading it and putting it into the countdown, because it's always worst pick of the week, so I'm like kind of saving it as I go along. But Sinestro is the only title I'm reviewing and reading. I'm sorry, I'm starting to get my laryngitis back. Alright, now we're up to number 8, which is Forever Evil, issue 7. A really good issue, and again, this would be a lot higher if it wasn't such a great week. There's some really great titles that came out this week that I enjoyed. And with Forever Evil, I had to give it a little lower because it was delayed. The art, I don't love how dark it is, and I've been complaining about that with the Forever Evil title. And I also complained about that in Justice League America because David Finch did that art also. I just don't think it really, it fits Forever Evil, but I just don't really love dark art. It kind of bogs down the title a little bit for me. But a lot of stuff happened here. If you want to learn about everything that happened, I would check out my in-depth review. I'm going to kind of skim over a little bit of stuff here for the countdown or for Comic Uno episode. So, yeah, with this, I really enjoyed this issue, though, even though the art did bog it down, and also I would say the Dick Grayson part bogged it down, because you could tell they kind of rewrote it. I feel like he was going to die. There's so little parts of Dick Grayson here that you knew they rewrote it. I think if it was planned, they would have some more Dick Grayson kind of sprinkled around in this title. But there's too little Dick Grayson to have that. And he was like, oh yeah, you just have to change your identity. Okay, quick, and we'll explain this in Grayson, okay? He's alive, guys, be happy. And that's pretty much what I felt like DC was saying here. So I think that was a little bit of a disappointment here also, because I wanted more about Dick Grayson. That was our big cliffhanger. But the good things here was, I think, Lex Luthor being the hero. And I will say Justice League was a lot better the way they painted it. But to have that event of just Lex Luthor saving the day, it being okay with being the hero, teaming up with Justice League was pretty cool to see. And using his smarts to really outsmart the strength of Alexander Luthor. And also the twist of Alexander Luthor being the father of Superwoman's baby. Superwoman's still having a baby, so Superwoman will be a prime story in upcoming Justice League stories. Ted Kord's here, so if you like Blue Beetle, he's here. I'm not a big Blue Beetle fan, so that wasn't a total shock to me. If you like the Infinite Crisis stuff, which I did not read, I really should read, you will see that, this is a big spoiler, Anti-Monitor is back. So will we be getting the New 52 destroyed? Will we be getting like a crossover with pre-New 52 and New 52 becoming like a same universe? Will they fix things? I don't know. Anti-Monitor could be anything. Lex Luthor knows Batman's Bruce Wayne. So we have a lot of interesting tidbits here that also went into Justice League, except the Anti-Monitor, which I don't know where we're going to continue that story. But yeah, I like this issue a lot, especially since this is so Lex Luthor driven. The villains, they're technically not villains anymore. They have a clear slate. So will we see villains become heroes? What villains will stick? That's what we're going to see more in Justice League and other titles in the aftermath of Forever Evil. Overall, I thought Forever Evil was a really fun ride, but I didn't love that it was delayed. And again, the art was a little iffy, but it was a really fun issue. I liked it. So Forever Evil, I give it 4 stars. Very solid issue. And I think maybe if there was a worse week, I would say, because this is such a great week, this would definitely be higher on the list. Alright. Number 7 is, I know some people don't like this title. I don't know why I even like this title, but All New Doop. I had so much fun with All New Doop issue 2, especially as a Shadowcat fan, especially as a Kitty fan. I think they really delved into Kitty's past, which a lot of people don't remember she's a ninja, but she is a ninja. And they even they don't state it, but they have some imagery of her being a ninja, so I respect that. it's a little weird also, because Doop is like a very weird character, trying to manipulate Kitty, and Kitty's kind of listening to Doop, maybe falling in love with him, but probably not. It's probably him manipulating her. At first it's like, oh no, they have to make their own decisions, the first class X-Men, if they want to go back to the past. And now she's being manipulated by Doop, saying, no, maybe we have to make their decisions, control them a little. Maybe they shouldn't go back. And, Doop is very manipulative and videotaping people, which is really weird, but it feels Doop-like. Again, I love this page, which is awesome, just like all past of Kitty. Hopefully I can find the page. So they go into Doop World, where he shows her, like, pretty much her past, her future, and the moments in between, which I do like about the series. It was the moments in between, even though they repeat some of the stuff with Battle of the Atom, which is very annoying. But this is all the moments in between. I love this spread. And there's Ninja Kitty right there, and Future Kitty in the cliffhanger of this issue. We get to see that Doop kidnaps Future Kitty, and she's not really Future Kitty, so we don't really know who Future Kitty is. But it's actually what's going on in all new X-Men. It's that the brother of Charles Xavier Jr. So it's interesting how they are tying into Battle of the Atom, but also tying into the events now. I thought it was a very cute issue. I liked it. I think it's really cool to see the past of Kitty. Doop, I think, is an interesting character. The art is really good. I think that's what really makes it a cute series. It's a fun mini-series. I've been having fun with it, and I didn't expect to have fun with it. So I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really liked all new Doop, and I'm looking forward to more Kitty and Doop and seeing what happens with this series. Alright, so now we're up to number 6, which is Justice League of America, issue 14. I guess this could have been higher in another week, but it was a solid issue, very solid issue. And what I liked about this is that it wasn't like, oh my god, we're a happy family, Justice League of America, this is all we did. They actually show the future of the Justice League of America, and most characters aren't showing up in Justice League United, so it was interesting to see where are these characters. Now, my in-depth review, I describe everywhere, vibes here, and you can check out my in-depth review for that. But one thing I loved about this issue the most is, again, seeing where everyone is. Some people are joining Justice League United, but it's Stargirl and Martian Manhunter. I think that this series was theirs for most of the time, especially with Forever Evil. Stargirl was always undermined, and she was interrogating Steve Trevor here. And she's starting to become a leader of a team. And I really like that. She's thinking outside the box and really created Justice League United with Green Arrow, with Martian Manhunter. Because she thought outside the box and said, hey, we can't be in America anymore. Let's go to Canada. So that's why we have Justice League Canada / Justice League United. And I love the friendship between Martian Manhunter and Stargirl. I think it's awesome, and I think it developed well in Forever Evil, where I could see this relationship really shine years from now. And I love that Martian Manhunter is so protective of Stargirl, because he had a family of his own and probably had Mars, and this is, kind of his daughter figure. And Stargirl just has many father figures, because he has, she had Stripe, and now she has Martian Manhunter, because she had a horrible real father. But yeah, I really enjoyed this because of their relationship, and I'm excited to see them being explored and united, and I just loved how they cared about each other here, and I love the dynamic where Martian Manhunter's like, I was looking for you everywhere, and Stargirl's like, you didn't have to worry about me. So I really liked that interaction, and it really made the issue for me, and again, it was just a really good last issue, and even though it was delayed, I thought it was a useful issue. There are some delays like, oh, this is like so old, why am I reading this? It didn't feel that way. I thought it was actually a really good missing puzzle piece to Justice League United. Still upset that it got delayed. It should have came out on the right time, but it's still a really good issue. So I give this 4 stars. Alright, so number 5 is The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 2. Fun issue. Great point A to point B issue. We get to see a little bit of Silk, a little bit of prelude of Silk. Very interested in her character, because she knows that Peter is Spider-Man. She has her own powers, and she has VHSs in her house. So why is that? We don't know, and I'm very excited to find out her story. But what I liked about this, again, it's a simple issue. Not much is happening, but there's also some stories that do continue and progress. Again, point A to point B issue. Anna Marie, she accepts that Peter was Dr. Octopus, and she might be friends with her. She's keeping the secret, so I liked how loyal she was. I'm sure they're gonna have a friendship. I really hope they don't have a romance, because the one thing that kind of upset me here was that she made this joke, saying, or not even joke, she just wanted to be alone. It's like, yeah, I'm pregnant. I was like, no, and at first second I had to close the book. I'm like, no, she's not pregnant. No, Mary Jane and Peter have a child and her name is May. And I was like, and then I opened it, it's like, no, I just told her that to get out of the room, like, oh, thank God. So I was safe, that was okay. But I understand that's her personality to be like, oh, I'm pregnant, she doesn't really care that she's saying those things. But that got me very worried, and I'm glad that wasn't true. But yeah, Anna Marie's an interesting character. I really do hope they keep their friendship at least. Also, we get to see a little bit of Johnny and Peter interact with each other, which is great to see because they are best friends, and I think they have some fun titles and fun issues with each other because their personalities really connect well. They need to be roommates. They really do. They had an issue with that like FF years ago, but they need to be roommates. That'd be awesome. And then we have Electro as the villain, and Parker Industries wants to have Electro to get his powers taken away. And Electro doesn't even want his powers because his powers are really being overtaken now because of Superior Spider-Man. So again, as I said, point A to point B issue, nothing too crazy happened, but it was a really fun issue. You get to see some stories really do progress with Anna Marie, with Electro, and it was a fun issue. I had a lot of fun with this. Love that Peter Parker is back, and I feel that with this issue, and I just can't wait for more Peter Parker stories. So, 4 stars, good issue, but nothing that blew my mind either. Alright, so number 4 is, yes, we're up to number 4. Justice League, issue 30. Now, why did I give Forever Evil a little lower? It's because Justice League kind of impressed me a little bit more. I was really shocked with Justice League. I was looking forward to Lex Luthor and Captain Cold joining the team, but I didn't know what to expect with it either. I said, they could really screw this up, or they could do this well. And yeah, Jeff Johns is writing this. So I was like, alright, Jeff Johns, I trust you. And he did it. He did well, because, how do you believe that Lex Luthor is going to be on the same team as Superman? They used the lasso of truth, and he says, I have a big ego. I want to be on the biggest team there is. I want to be a hero now, and I see that there's bigger threats. And I'm like, that's pretty believable. I could believe Lex Luthor saying that to team up with his worst enemy to do that. And obviously he's probably going to do something wrong to become a villain again. We know he's not going to be on the Justice League forever, but it's an interesting story arc for Lex Luthor. Captain Cold, on the other hand, we didn't really get to see that much of him in the Justice League, which is a little weird, but I'm sure he will join it. Because he's on the cover, so he's going to join, but it's like, he's still like, oh, I don't know if I want to join or what I want to do. I just like being with my friends. Will he be a villain? His slate is clean. That's going to be the question. And there's some really great cliffhangers here. We get to see the new Power Ring, Jessica Cruz, the first female Green Lantern, appear, and we even get to see, Jeff Johns is great at just making us care for a character. 1 page of the sister talking to her. I'm like, I really like Jessica Cruz. I really like her backstory. Jeff Johns is great with origin stories. He proves it time and time again, and just 2 pages is making me really interested with Jessica Cruz. And then a second cliffhanger is Lex encountering Bruce, or at least Alfred, at his house saying, hey, can I talk to Batman? And that's the end of the issue. Loved it. The art's great for this series. The story was great. I loved it. Again, if it was another week, this probably would have been pick of the week. But yeah, it was awesome. 4.5 stars. Art was great. Story was great. Was really impressed with this. And again, I like this better than Forever Evil a little bit more because, yeah, it didn't have as much shock value, but the story really interested me, and I thought this was a great tie-in for Forever Evil, and you understand why this had to come out the same week as Forever Evil's last issue. Alright, so now we're up to number 3, which is Daredevil, issue 3. Another really fun issue. I really enjoyed this issue, mostly because Foggy was awesome here. We get to see Foggy, he just does a disguise like, yeah, I don't really like just being secretive, and we don't know why he's being secretive. We don't know why after his cancer he has to hide out, and I'm really intrigued of why he has to do that. And McDuffie says you really have to go back. The only people that know is your doctor, someone else knew also, I think it was a superhero, your doctor, Hank Pym, which obviously there's a reason Hank Pym knows, Matt and me. So you gotta go, no one else can know about this, it's very dangerous. So I had a lot of fun with that, and also, Daredevil again, just getting used to San Francisco is interesting, and the cliffhanger was great, because we know that this cowl guy, who's not really a villain, but wants to get back at the Owl, he's kind of related, not related, but had a relationship with Julia Carpenter, Madam Web. And I'm like, whoa, that's actually a really interesting twist. Will we see Madam Web? Because we haven't seen Madam Web in a really long time. And how is he how was he in a relationship with her? So I'm really intrigued with that story. And we have the cliffhanger of Daredevil going into this pit. And how is he going to get out of that? Obviously, he's going to get out of it. But I thought it was a good cliffhanger. I thought it was a really interesting tie-in to Spider-Man, which Daredevil usually does a lot. Art was great. Him teaming up with the Cowl, I guess outsmarting Owl was great. And it was an interesting story. I loved it. I've been loving Daredevil in San Francisco. It was a needed reboot because he did go to San Francisco. It feels like a new volume. And I love what Mark Waid's doing. Glad he didn't leave the title like we all thought. So great issue. Had a lot of fun with that. Alright, so number 2 is Nova, issue 17. Whoa, this was freaking fun. This is why I fell in love with Nova in the first place. It was that family and Nova dynamic. Sam is just trying to help his mother because she got an eviction notice. So she's, getting all these jobs, and he brings his gold nugget and has, all this radiation. He's like, Sam, bring that back to space. You have to. And she goes to work, and she hears people are talking about Sam, talking about Nova, at least there's the shooting star that has a curfew. So people are getting suspicious of Nova, and that's obviously probably going to be a story in the future. And Sam has to take care of his sister while his mother is at work, and the sister puts on the helmet. So obviously, I guess this from issue 1, that sister could become Nova also, because she has the same DNA as her father. So that will be very interesting if we could see her become a Nova one of these days. Obviously not, because she's like a little kid, but that was a lot of fun. And she's like, think about when you're a kid, when you're getting in trouble from your parents, like, oh no, I just don't want to get in trouble with, Mom. And then Sam's like, no, this is definitely my fault. I'm sorry. So it's interesting, that whole interaction with the sister and brother. I really love this family dynamic, and I had a lot of fun with it this issue. And then also you get to see Sam and the mother have a fight a little bit, and he runs off, and then they forgive each other in the end. I feel like it just feels like a very normal family, and the interesting dynamics between them is great. And they're just hugging, it's really, I really love this family, and I think that's really what I like about this series most of all. Again, the balance of this regular family on Earth in, I think it's Texas, and this Nova life, and balancing both, and then kind of all knowing about Nova now, even the sister, being a little confused by it. And then the ending, where it actually relates to Original Sin, where he's like, yeah, I have someone watching over me, he's the Watcher, I think we're kind of friends. And then you see a puddle of blood of the Watcher. And that's going to be interesting to see how Sam reacts to that. This is a 5-star book. Look at this cover. How do you not give this 5 stars? This cover was awesome. Okay, dummies, my brother is sleeping, so this is your only warning. Buy this comic or I'm going to come over to your house and rip up all your Guardians of the Galaxies. Fun issue. Again, the family dynamic. This is what I love Nova about. The art was great. Loved this issue, 5 stars. Loved it. If this was another week, this could have been my pick of the week. So, really fun issue. Alright, so what was pick of the week with all these great issues that were possible to be pick of the week? What was actual pick of the week? And that is Invincible, issue 111. Why I gave this pick of the week, it shocked me. It did so many things that I just didn't think a comic could do. Mark has gone through so many things in the past issues, which I really hope they counter after these battles and see how he changes as a person. We need some internal dialogue, which they rarely do anymore with Invincible, which I haven't thought about. They really don't do internal dialogue. They used to do a lot in the beginning of Invincible. They don't do as much, and I think after this we're going to need some internal dialogue, definitely, just to see what Mark is going through. And now let's describe what happened in this issue. We get to see, Mark's best friend go against him, wants to rule the world, kills Cecile, which is kind of his boss, splatters blood in his face because of it, goes to Eve, pulls her leg off, makes Eve fall on the ground to her stomach. She's fully pregnant, and she has to use her powers against him, and that's draining the baby. So Mark is like, we have to go, and he runs to his father, and that's the end of the issue. Now my prediction, I don't think Eve's gonna die. I think somehow they're gonna use prosthetic leg or whatever when she does survive. I think she will survive this one. I don't see Eve dying. And I think the baby's gonna survive too. I have a feeling because does have superpowers. So I think the baby will be able to survive, but I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see. But I hope we get to see again Mark really react to this. And I'd be very disappointed if he doesn't react to the things that happen to him. Sorry, I have such laryngitis. But yeah, I really enjoyed this issue because of that shock factor. But, you know, some shock factors like, oh, you're only doing it for shock. But I think these are shock factors that really progress the story. And it did this a lot because this is going to show, hopefully with Mark, going to show Mark become a different character and go through another journey, a new era. And I'm really intrigued to see what happens. I thought it had a really good cliffhanger and the art was great. It was very gruesome, but very good. I like the issue a lot, so I'm going to give this 5 stars. Can't wait for the next issue, and that's what you do. I really can't wait for this next issue. If you read issue and say, I need to read this next issue, that's how you know you have a good book on your hands. So I'm going to give that 5 stars. That was my pick of the week, but there's so many great comics that came out this week. A lot of comics came out this week. Please tell me in the comments below what your favorite comic was, your worst pick of the week, everything that I talked about, you can talk about in the comments below. Of course, I have Comic Uno episode 50 next week. Can't believe I'm up to 50 already. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno and the Rant Situations, and don't forget to like my Facebook page, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.